but should we start now or do we have to wait? Good morning, good morning. You can start? Oh, good morning everyone, and let's start with some questions that we have here and then today's topic. First of all, this part, services, service branding, I will now give examples when I give the product examples, physical goods basically, but because products means any solution that we offer for consumers' needs, wants and desires, that's called product. And product have different forms, physical goods, services, combination of both of them, right? So we will definitely talk about the service brands and also about business to business brands. However, I must remind you that today, after my session, Professor Banerjee is specifically going to talk only about branding services. So today's session, Professor Banerjee is going to deal with this. So that will hopefully address your points, but don't hesitate, form your questions, because I don't want anybody to have any confusion, and ask further, and I'll be very happy to explain. But your feedback is very good, so I will consciously consider these during the discussion. Okay? So this is, I was trying to address this first. Now, this first question, this is a very good point that he has asked, our friend. He's saying that the physical good and service is same. Transportation, that is using Volvo bus. So bus, Volvo bus is same, correct? And the core service is transporting from point A, you said Asansol to Kolkata, right? So point A to point B, that's your service, core service. This is not the complete service, this is just the core service, transportation. You understand the core service? So like if you go to the haircut, the core service is cutting hair, but then he may apply some gel, he may use better equipment to do that, he may also give you some head massage. Those are peripheral services, additional services, like accessories in the product. So, but that's not the core service, correct? However, we choose the haircutting salon or barber or whatever place we use, we do worry about not just a good haircut, we also worry about many other things like cleanliness. Correct? Think about it, haircut is a service, we all have it. So we worry about cleanliness, we worry about hygiene, not only the hygiene of the place, we also worry about how clean and hygienically the equipments have been maintained. So for example, are they sanitized before everyone's cut? Whether that machine like that, nowadays it doesn't do like this, they have electric one. Or the scissors, or the palms, are they sanitized before using on you? And then the towel that covers you, that is a fresh one for each of you, or you must have seen those traditional barbers, they just do like this and use the same on everyone, right? So those are not core services, but they all are services, and depending on the customers, they are very important, right? So there are, whenever we are talking about any product, physical product means physical good or services, there are two important aspects in this. One is the utility. The utility part, which is what in haircut is haircut, for the transportation is taking you, transporting you from one and your goods from one place to another place. So that's called utility part of the product. As I said, both physical goods and services have this part. The second part is called, we don't call it in our technical language, we call it hedonic component. That hedonic component, again, the definition of utility and hedonic is different for different people, right? So there are also saloons that will use brand new scissor and that machine on every customer. You know what I mean? That after it is used on you, it will be destroyed. It won't be used on a second customer. So it's not cleaning or hygiene. That gets into hedonic part, correct? But for customer, it's more perception as a utility, because these consumptions, whether it's a utilitarian or hedonic, they are also not fixed. They are all perceived and they are related to the context. So, have you ever seen a hair cutting place where they use the equipments on you and then they are not used on anybody else, they are thrown? No?
It is used here only for blades, not
Yeah, the blades is one simple example that but the device on which the blade is fitted, that is not new, correct? That is old. So that's very simple, you are saying, but I'm talking about all kinds of equipment, like that machine which does like this, or the scissor, for example, the comb that they use, towel that is used on you, all that is used and then thrown, not again used on somebody else. You haven't seen that kind of service, right? So there are, now this is why, like if you talk about simple haircut service, this is, I'm trying to answer this question and I will come back. From $6, which is about 540 rupees or 500 rupees in a conservative estimate, to $500. This is the rate of haircut in America. $6 to $500. So the example that I gave you where everything will be thrown and you will have a new one, that is $500. Right? And where only the blade is changed, that is $6. Understand? And here it's not only, I don't go, I'm not rich, I don't go here, I don't go here. I go to a place that charges only $50. Okay? So what they do this $50, why do I go there? It's not just the haircut and the hygiene part. So of course they use very high-end antiseptic to sanitize the equipment in front of you before providing this, cutting your hair in front of you, and then they put it in a microwave oven type of device. It's not microwave, it's a device that creates certain temperature. So all these equipments are put in that device and heated so that after that antiseptic anything is left, you know, at hot temperature, all that gets burned. So it's that high level of sanitization of the equipment that will be used. And of course the towel, they use one on one person and then they throw it. Okay, that's the one that I use. But it's not only that, it also is a chain across the country and it has a database system. In that database system, every time they will record what has been done on me, what was my preference. So this is recorded. Now, sometimes you will find people, they don't change anything in their preference of haircut. It's every month or every 3 weeks, it remains the same preference. But sometimes people go and say, in the winter, I want little longer hair or certain kind of design. In summer I want another type of design or another kind of thing. So you might vary, or you have a function coming up, so you want something else. So those modifications are also recorded on the computer. The benefit of this is that I might have taken a service in one particular location, one saloon, and the next month I am in another state, let's say from the New York to Los Angeles. And if I go to this store in Los Angeles, they know about me. Just with one button, my phone number. Identification is phone number. With phone number, they know what I want, what I need, what has been done with me. Now you see, this is all peripheral services. This is not the core service. Core service is still only haircut. But for me as a customer, for others it's a hedonic perception. But for me, this is still all utility. Right? It's so easy, so convenient, so comfortable, and I get uniform standard quality of service. Now here, you see the importance of branding. That brand of haircut chain has developed a special reputation amongst customers for providing consistent uniform service despite of different service providers. Because in different saloon, there are different service providers. Even if you go to the same saloon, maybe on one occasion there is one service provider, on the other occasion that service provider is not free and you are in hurry, so some other service provider, right? So ensuring this with technology today it is possible. So now coming back to this point here, so transport is only traveling from one place to another place is only a utility. And this to provide this service, the equipment that they are using, all of them are using Volvo. Correct? Now, how can you do branding here? How can you differentiate? How can customer build a resonance with one brand and not with another brand? Correct? That's where comes the peripheral services. Okay? Which some people may call them as hedonic services. So what are those peripheral services? The peripheral services may be cleanliness, right? Keeping your bus clean is a service. And if you see different operators, they have different level of cleanliness and hygiene in their buses. If they don't, so that's the point. If they don't, did you read the article that I uploaded? One article, where is commodity brands and luxury is headed to? If you read that article, you are right, some people will not. Then what happens? The brand becomes, when the brand is not satisfying this part, if this part is missing from a brand and it focuses only on utility, the brand is being converted consciously or unconsciously into what we call commodity. Understand? So what you meant, though you may give some name, but for consumers they are commodity. You understand? Like potato. Is there a difference in potato? Potato is a potato is a potato.
There are different kinds of potatoes.
There are different kinds of potato. What about brands of potato?
Local market is in brand.
There is no brand in local market. What about in supermarket? There might be, or have you seen any?
I have seen.
You have seen. How are they branded? Different potatoes are branded differently. Do they have multiple brands of potato?
Like the packaging is different. One comes in an island bag, other in a plastic bag.
Okay. But they same brand or different brands?
Different ones.
Different brand. Now packaging is different. But inside it, the potato, is that also different? They are same.
So
Now,
we can mention that that is organic.
Sorry?
And price is higher.
okay, so some of them are organic. So another criteria is added that it's an organic, and maybe they have built a brand around that, right? So you can differentiate between organic potato and non-organic potato. But anything else you can differentiate? At the end of the day, organic potato is one type of commodity. It's a potato that is organic in nature or grown organically. So that's but it is still a commodity, and other potato is also a commodity. Correct? Now, whenever there is a commodity, how do you buy? What is most important for you when you are buying commodity? And service is one part, and
The quality which you can see.
quality that you can see from your naked eyes, right? Perceive, see, but you don't know the technical quality, because a potato grown with certain soil, with certain fertilizers, certain chemical treatment, define the actual quality. But as a consumers, none of us are able, we don't have capability to check that. Is that clear? So, at the end of the day, what you are buying is commodity. And if you go to, let's say, open market where there is no brand for potato, what is the main criteria when you buy? Price.
The price will be same in a regulated market.
No. Price sometimes it may be same. Sometimes somebody will bring offers. आप 5 किलो ले रहे हो, आपको मैं इतने में दे दूँगा. You are my regular customer. I will give you this discount. Have you heard that?
Yes, sir.
So usually the commodities are differentiated only by price. Commodities are differentiated only by price, nothing else. Right? But you rightly said about the bus, there is no price difference also. So what you are providing, they don't have a brand. They might give a name to their company, but they have, instead of building the brand, they have converted their services into commodity services. Right? Have airlines done the same thing? No. Even if you had low cost airlines, each airline had some differentiation. Right? So airlines have managed to keep their brands despite of being in the same service. The buses that you are talking about, in West Bengal they don't have difference. But like in America, there are many bus brands and they have difference. And people understand that difference. And therefore there is also a price difference, because brand is supposed to bring the premium,
Hedonic features.
added hedonic features. Understand? When these kind of buses started, there was different. Some buses has television, some buses didn't have television, right? In the train services, which was commodity earlier, the railway, Indian Railways was offering you commodity. All rails of similar kind, and within that you have 3 levels of services, right? The regular Janta class, then sleeper 2, and AC1, AC2, AC3, right? You remember that? That was commodity. Today, there are many types of trains within India, so there is a branding. For example, Vande Bharat. Vande Bharat is a brand of the rail service, correct? So it is still transporting you from one place to another place. But if you travel by Vande Bharat versus other brand from Kolkata to Durgapur, what are the other brands? What's that? Rajdhani from Kolkata to here? Yeah, Kolkata to Durgapur. Okay, so Rajdhani is another brand, Shatabdi is another brand, right? So the railway, which was commodity, it has been tried as a brand by differentiating and providing the core service remains same, but they are providing some added services, right? Maybe cleanliness, maybe good food, maybe hot food, those kind of things, maybe food with cockroach. That's what it was known. The Shatabdi or Rajdhani, no, the original trains where you can buy the food from the cafeteria coach. What is that called? Pantry car. In that pantry car, many times cockroach was also found along with your food, right? So this was the difference. This is a differentiation. Brands, if they don't differentiate themselves, they become commodity. And yesterday I gave you the example of Mahindra and Mahindra as a product. what happened with Mahindra and Mahindra? The problem was that all their products, whatever they make, in consumers' mind they were cheap. They were commoditized as Jeep. Jeep was not a brand in this country. Jeep was synonym of a particular type of vehicle that was manufactured only by Mahindra and Mahindra. Anybody else manufacturing that kind of vehicle was not called Jeep. Understand? So that was commoditization, and that's why we took that project, consultancy, to bring it to the brands. Today, not only the M is revised, but their models are branded. Is your question answered? So this is where the problem is. They have opportunity to brand differentiate and charge different prices, and there will be people who will buy it. But they are not doing it because who are these operators? Some fellow who has a lot of money, correct? Or takes the loan and is known as Motor Malik, correct? So he is not bothered about anything else. Paisa aa raha hai na? Why add additional items? So that's the problem. But as I told you that in other countries, the buses, like in America, there are several brands of buses, and people choose certain brands. If I'm looking for economy class category, that is just utilitarian. Some of us only need utilitarian. As we say, पेट ही तो भरना है. What does it mean? पेट ही तो भरना है means
Basic fundamentals.
utilitarian need, right? So you can get the same fish on that card maybe for 50 rupees, and you can get exactly same fish, same quantity for 2000 rupees, depending on where you are eating. The fish is fish, maybe all sourced from the same place. Maybe the fellow who is selling on the truck is selling, giving you better fish. You know how you might have caught from the fresh river, fresh water, river water. You might have gone in the morning, caught those fish and then cooked it for you. Whereas the one that you paid 2000 rupees, that was bought from a supplier who got it several days ago, kept it in that ice packs, then brought it. It's kept in freezer in the restaurant for so many days, and then it is being cooked. In terms of taste, in terms of healthy nutrients, this 2000 rupee fish is not as good as that 20 or 50 or maybe 100 rupees. I have no idea how much they charge. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. Difference. So utilitarian difference also exists, but people do not understand that perception. People do not understand this part, that there is a problem in this, right? And for the hedonic region, they are very happy when they pay 2000 rupees and sit in certain kind of environment because of those peripheral services. Is your question answered?
Commodity brands cannot build results with customers.
Commodities are not brands. That's the point. This is the difference. Brands are in consumer's mind. The day consumer starts thinking that a potato is a potato is a potato, and some consumer will say in that supermarket that don't buy just for putting in that polythene bag, he is asking more money. They have this mindset. That means for them, that potato is a commodity. Even organic part that you are saying, some people say ullu bana raha hai yaar, wahi mitti se nikla. That means for them it is a commodity. So commodity means the brand is diluted. It's not a brand anymore. Understand? Clear? Yes. Can a commodity be? Yes. Many examples. Now coming to B2B.
Even
Yeah, sorry.
Even here, for this example, what Mr. asked, he can connect, that particular transport can connect with some hotels, prominent hotels, can build brands, can convert that. There are so many services that they can do, through which they can compete and can able to build brands. But they have to take.
But even basic service that they are offering, even that can be differentiated, as I said, by cleanliness,
Yes.
by ticket booking system, by offering cold water inside the
Yes.
bus. You know, simple things. How much will, if you buy in bulk and grease them, and then to the passengers, you give a cold water bottle for free, included in the ticket.
Basic earphones.
It will start building the brand. Even if you charge little more money, whatever it's costing, people will say, let's go to that. उसमें चाय भी मिलती है, कॉफी भी मिलती है, कोल्ड ड्रिंक मिलता है, पानी मिलता है, स्नैक्स मिलता है, 5 रुपए ज़्यादा ले लिया, 10 ज़्यादा ले लिया, तो क्या हो?
Basic earphones they are giving, sir.
Basic earphones
Earphones.
are, which is they source from China, which is very cheap.
Cheap.
So like
Because all are
in
seen.
West Bengal market, what this transportation company did is, since they have been treated as commodity, some of them launched a service like Prime.
Prime,
Like for this Primo buses,
Yeah.
every company has Primo buses.
right?
Now they
This
have
bus-
virtual bus.
What they will do is, they are targeting that my main utility is to reach from point A to
Yeah,
B.
correct.
So I'll maintain consistency with the time.
Yeah,
Not every buses is doing that.
yes,
Some are taking 5 hours, some are taking 4 hours.
Correct.
These Primo buses, what will they do is,
yeah,
if you book tickets for Primo buses,
yes,
will reach there in 3 hours 30 minutes.
correct.
For sure.
That itself is a very, very big benefit for the customer.
Yes.
And those target audience, again remember it's target audience. Those target audience who value time, they will not mind paying that extra money. I won't mind paying that extra money. You know, in China, there are 3 types of high-speed trains. You know, like what we call bullet trains in Japan, and Modi ji was bringing some bullet train to India. I don't know where it is, whether it has come or not. So that's called high-speed train. In Japan has only one type of high-speed train, that is called bullet train. In China, you have 3 types of high-speed train on the same track, means same destination. So let's say if you want to go from Beijing to Shanghai by train, suppose there are 3 types of trains, and that's the example. There is one that will be extremely fast, running at more than 300 km per hour, more than 300 km per hour, and the service inside will be like the business class of airline, that kind of service for everyone. Timing, as you said, not even 1 second difference, starts dot at time, and whatever destination you are going reaches dot on time. Now that is the highest price, huge price difference. Air ticket is 3 times cheaper than this high speed train. But people take this because airlines are still not reliable. If the weather condition is bad, they may not fly on time or they may not reach on time. But the train will reach on time despite of weather conditions. So example that you gave, it's in practice, and the rail has been from commodity, has been branded very well. They have different names in Chinese, which I cannot speak, but those are the brand names. So you understand, there is a scope. Suppose you are a motor malik, you can do that. You can go even beyond that what he is suggesting. So you can even do that. Now coming to B2B, see the problem. Indian IT industry, let's talk about IT industry because IT services are predominantly B2B business, correct? Even if we as a student and faculty use those services here, you don't sell it to us. You are selling directly to NIT Durgapur. So that is called business to business marketing. In business to business branding, there are 2 things. One is business to business products, and there are business to business services, like the same thing, physical goods and services. IT companies in India, there was a time, maybe in consumers' mind they are still differentiated. Employees' mind. Within India, we may say that Infosys is a good paymaster. I don't know, I'm just making assumption, okay. Wipro is a poor paymaster. This is how we employees brand in their mind, or prospective employees. And TCS pays less, but job security is high, and it's a good training ground. So, in our time when we were engineering students, we always had a choice. So, these companies used to come to campus. So, the question was whether to go to TCS or go to Infosys. Those days, 3 companies were dominant in this country: TCS, Infosys, and Wipro. Of course, there were others who used to come to campus, and one of them was Satyam. Do you guys remember the Satyam story?
Yes.
Right? You may remember Satyam, which was, is it still existing?
No one.
I think it was closed down, right?
Scam report.
Because of the scam, it was closed down, right? So Satyam had problem, and then there are many IT companies. I think India has large number of IT companies. So we have branded them here with certain differentiation. We, as an employee, as a prospective employee, we have this plan. However, when they are looking for the business, most of these companies, their main business is providing services outside it. Correct? European clients, American clients, Middle Eastern clients. So they have been providing services to different clients around the world, and that's where they generate a lot of money. So those are the customers. In customers' mind, unfortunately, all these are commodity brands. They have not been able to brand themselves. Why they have not been able to brand themselves except TCS? TCS has managed to maintain and create its brand. Why they could not maintain their brand? Because when they go to foreign clients, they are fighting on price. They are not fighting on the what we call hedonic for consumer. For B2B customers, it is peripherals, right? Respect, image, some differentiation. So what happens? Customer will always, it's a human tendency to ask the seller to reduce the price.
Discounts are the main vehicle.
For every time, you know, even if we go to that bazaar, you said aloo fellow, the potato fellow, we still say, if he says 10 rupees a kg, what is our first reaction? वो 9 में दे रहा है यार, तू 10 का दे रहा है, सोना बेच रहा है क्या? Right? This is the reaction we do. If you hire an auto, I came to know another brand here in West Bengal, it's called Toto. Right? I only knew auto, now we have Toto. So if you take auto or Toto, the first thing is, I'm going there, unless you use Rapido, then you have fixed price, right? But if you are just, you hail it and then say, I want to go to an IT, or I want to go to Junction Mall, then how much will you take? So he will quote some price. What do we do after that? Bargain, right? We immediately say, नहीं इतना नहीं होता है, मैं रोज जाता हूँ उधर, क्या कभी नहीं, मैं रोज जाता हूँ उधर, 50 रुपए लगता है तो 100 रुपए मांग रहा है, correct? We do that. If these guys agree to it and start the price war, then consumer's mind, you don't seem to have any different thing. That is why you agree to reducing the price. So the pricing literature has established that when you fight the competition on price, then your brand gets diluted and becomes from brand to commodity. So IT services, unfortunately, which should be properly branded, from brand they have become commodity for whom? Not for our employees,
For business.
for business, for the consumers. Understand? So, is this now
Yes.
I'm taking care of your requirement as well?
Yes.
So my dear friend, your question is answered? Excellent. And there are many ways to do that. That's what people like me do. you will say it's a common sense, right? A lot of things in business are common sense. The problem is common sense is not common. Common sense is very uncommon. In every life, in every part of life. Even yesterday's example, the chakka thing, what I did by taking a lot of money was very common sense, right? Even this, what we are just talking about, this is all common sense. But the sense is not common at all, it's uncommon. So, coming to the second part, the second question was about patent for oh yes, now I get it. I was trying to recall what was the question. So, there is a patent somebody has taken as a reason for anything. I think you talked about shaving product or something. There are many things that happen. Sometimes I have the patent, but to increase my business, it's not only me who uses the patent and makes this product, but also I sell the patent to my competition to get the money. The only condition is that we decide the product has to be designed differently and they have to have their name. The razor itself, the Gillette that you talked about, for the Gillette there is another example where Gillette has sold its patent to a company called Vic. Have you heard the company called Vic? No? It's not, I think it's not available in India. Disposable razor. Gillette came with the blade called disposable razor. You know that, right? That disposable razor, that is a high volume product. High volume product. What high volume product means? That people use and throw, so they buy more. Of course, you know that Gillette has many other types of shaving razors, right? This disposable one, in this you don't change the blade. This is one fixed blade, you use it and you throw it. Have you guys seen that? That is the basic razor, absolutely basic razor. So this technology was patented by Gillette. And then Gillette sold it to its competitor Vic. Vic used to make disposable pens. You know those, yeah, something like this. If you see this kind of pen, we used to have a pen where we will buy a refill and we will change the refill. Can you change the refill in this? No. So one time, so you use it and throw it. So Vic was the first company in the world to make disposable plastic pen. So you will use it and throw it. And it was sold at a very low price, 1 cent for one pen. 1 cent is how much? 1 cent is 90 paisa. So 90 paisa for one pen. I'm sure this is more than 90 paisa, right? How much is it? 5 rupees? 3 rupees? So 90 paisa for Americans was nothing. 1 cent for one pen. And very nicely doing, so they had expertise in plastic technology. But they also wanted to diversify. So they approached Gillette and they bought the patent at certain price. It's called licensing, taking the license. And the agreement was that your color, your design and the handle, the plastic handle should be not same design as Gillette's. Right? So Vic did it, and as usual, because Vic is known for creating economy products, like 1 cent pen, their razor price was much less as compared to Gillette's disposable razor price. So this is one strategy where a follower has come, took the license from leader, and Vic is very successful. Why? Because like any country, in America also, there is a very low income group people. those low income group people cannot afford the expensive razors. So they will buy this one. I don't know the current price, but long ago that used to be 10 cent. 10 cent. In today's price 9 rupees for that disposable razor. Use it and throw it. And somehow from the consumer's perception became that the big razor is better than Gillette razor. So this was kind of problem for the leader. But Gillette was not worried. Why? Because that was not Gillette's main product. Gillette makes money by selling those razors where you replace the cartridge, the blade. That's where it makes money. Right? Now that patent and that quality is so high and the innovation that they keep doing on that is so high that the followers who have come up, there are followers who have come up, they create their own design, they get it patented, so of course it has to be different from the Gillette because they are not buying from Gillette and Gillette is not selling that patent. See, you also don't sell your core competence, you don't sell your value added products. So in that category, the followers have two strategies. One is to reduce the price and focus on a different target, completely different target. And that target segment is, in this case, a much lower income. Okay? So there are some other companies that have come up with those replaceable cartridge kind of thing with their own patent, but they reduce the price, so they are not in utilitarian performance, in quality of close shave, they are not as good as Gillette, but they have their own market, they are happy with lower sales volume, and because not everybody has the same appetite, not everybody needs the same level of sales volume to survive. So that is one possibility. The second possibility is create a technology get a patent for much higher quality, something completely different, and then position that in consumers' mind, not comparing with this leading brand, but creating a different market for yourself in a much higher end. And there is an example for that. This brand is called, I don't know if you people know, it has a different names, two different names, but the company is a Dutch company, Philips. Have you heard Philips? Philips has those electric razors. You can charge them. They have 3 blades. They rotate. This. Huh? Yeah, no. Philips has many products. Many products. It's an electronic company. But I'm talking about the razor product. So Philips came with this razor, and in America it is sold under the brand name called Norlaco. It's not called Philips. There is some conflict because they didn't register earlier in America. They have to change the brand name, so it's called Norlaco. But everywhere else it's called Philips razor. Same razor, exactly same machine, actually shaving machine, not razor. It's called shaving machine. So you have 3 blades, and those 3 blades keep rotating, and they go with the contour of your face. Like you all have different types of face. So when you run it, the blades automatically they swivel and they keep getting adjusted and shaped. So that is called electric razor. This is trimmer. They also bring trimmer. Trimmer is different. Okay. They also bring a shaver for women. That's different. I'm talking about men face razor alone. It's not trimmer. Trimmer is a separate thing. Those who grow the beard, some people they grow the beard and they only trim this part, sometimes trim this thing like that. That's Philips trimmer. That's a different one. I'm talking about the shaver. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring and show it to you. I use that shaver. Okay? It's about $280 that shaver, and you can use it easily for 2 years. Okay? Unless you have very rough beard, so you can use it for 2 years. So that's the kind of thing. And then if you want to just keep changing plates, you spend I think $40 and you can change the plates and you can keep using it. But I feel that's nonsense, changing the plates. So after a year or so, I throw that and buy another. Now, to compete with this, many companies came which tried to imitate something like that, but they didn't have that technology. This is a technology that creates that fill and adjusting to the contours of your face without scratching your face, without irritating your face. So that technology everybody could not master. So brands came, they tried to market and they died. So one thing is that when you have a strong leader, it's not easy actually to compete with. And Philips having 99 years patent actually doesn't matter, because every couple of years they improve the technology and get a new patent for that. So even if somebody copies that after 99 years or whatever, it doesn't matter, because by then they already have something. So there is another brand that is called BRAUN. Okay, this company was very famous for shaving products before Philips, very famous. But when the razors came, and electric razors I'm talking about, as long as Gillette had those kind of razors, Gillette doesn't make electric razors, so they had no problem. But when the Philips brought the electric razors, this company thought that we are going to lose the market in the shaving segment, men's shaving segment. Initially focus was on men's shaving segment. So what Braun did was, first it said, okay, Philips is focusing on men, let's create a technology only for shaving razor, electric shaving razor for women. So this is one way they are identifying the gap in the market, because there was no product for the women. It was only for the, and they became very successful. But they did one thing, expensive. They made it expensive. Why? Because they looked at alternative. What is it that currently women use? So those days women were using the razors. You know, the normal, like disposable razors we were talking about. There were razors for women as well, for shaving the legs. But wax shaving after a certain point of time is not very close shave. It's not smooth. And in the legs you start getting stable, like in your beard, you start getting those things, right? It becomes rough skin. So razor creates that problem. This Braun shaver will create very smooth skin, and because it was able to pull the hair from the root without hurting your leg, that your leg will remain smooth for longer period of time. So they kept the price very high end. They knew that this product will not be for public, for masses. This will be a premium product only bought by elite class. They only can pay that kind of price. And it became so successful because of its performance, that it had a strong brand like Dalda. People copied. So women will go and they will say, I need a Braun razor. And they may get something which is not Braun. But that will not perform like Braun, because like I told you, the men's razor like Philips, People copied, but that didn't perform because they don't have that technology. Then what Braun did, it found that the women's market is good, but we need to increase the market and we should take the Philips head-on. So they created men's razor using same technology that they use for the developing women's razor, electric razor. They created men's razor. Now the difference is how they, because you have to have the patent difference. So the Philips is 3 blades like this, and there are small hundreds of blades in each of these inside, very small blades, and these blades rotate. That's how it works. The Braun was not like this. The Braun was a box kind of thing like this, and blades like this. Understand? So the whole design of razor is different, and this technology is very advanced, so it provides much comfortable and closer shape. But when you provide a superior quality and you want to create the brand, not convert the into commodity, superior quality should also charge premium price. Understand? Which is the mistake that many people do. They bring the good quality, but pricing they want to do same as the customer, thinking that customer will not pay anything more. So like you Asan sold to Kolkata, people may assume, अरे भाई ये West Bengal है, price sensitive customers, nobody will pay 10 rupee extra. This is a wrong assumption. Until you try, you will not know how many people will pay more. Understand? So therefore, when they brought this, they put the price for their product 5 times the price of Philips razor. 5 times the price of Philips razor. Now what is it communicating?
Serving more quality.
It's communicating that this is the best in the market and not meant for people who do not understand the value of comfortable clothes shape. Positioned very highly. What's happening in the market? The quantity they sell is less, but the value that they get is very high, and it became successful. Extremely successful. So in the market we have 2 products now. This one is you can call middle class people, and this one you can call upper income group, high class people. Did I answer your question? You got the answer? This is how we have to figure out what do we do, how do we differentiate ourselves, what is it that we can tell the customer. So mistake that our IT industry did, and this happened in last 20 years and it's happening more and more now, cutthroat competition amongst Indian companies itself. They all quote the price whenever it happens, and they all are ready to cut down the price in a very big way. So as a result of that, they have not gone into creating different things. If you remember, Infosys had a very good product, excellent product. Indian IT companies are not known for product, physical product that we say. You know, product and services in IT are called differently. So Infosys had an excellent product for financial banking sector. What is that? Finacle. Finacle. Did you people study in your finance course? No? Okay. Usually in a good MBA program, you are taught and you are given training on Finacle. So Finacle is the name of a software product like SAP for ERP. Finacle is the best product for banking. and it is fully integrated from back end to the front end. It has everything including CRM as part of it. So it's an excellent product. Most Indian banks are run on Finacle. They could have taken over the whole world with Finacle. But one mistake they did. What? They went to foreign banks. They went to America, they went to New Zealand, they went to Europe. But instead of telling them that your financial product system, software system is inferior to mine, and therefore I will charge this. They were saying I am selling this, but at 1/10 of the price of it.
This is what the most of the IT companies in India do.
That's the problem. Do you know this DeepSeek? You know DeepSeek, I think. Do you guys know DeepSeek?
Yes, sir.
It's an AI like ChatGPT. This DeepSeek development was proposed by Microsoft in US, and the budget that they made, and they approached the government for part funding, was several billion dollars. Several billion dollars. The Chinese fellow in China created DeepSeek for less than US dollar 1 lakh, 100,000. Three zeros. 1 lakh. Less than 1 lakh dollars. Before Microsoft can create, they did it, and they did it for $100,000, $1 lakh. And Microsoft's budget, the plan was multi-billion dollar project. Google, do you know Google? Google has an AI that is called Gemini. Do you know Gemini? Have you heard about Gemini? The most useless AI. They created this and they wanted funding from investors to develop Gemini to the level of DeepSeek earlier. You know, the Microsoft and Google both were competing to create a better ChatGPT. In fact, one of them met, I don't remember whether it was Google or it was Microsoft, they actually hired the founder of ChatGPT. Microsoft, right? They hired and then fired. You know that, right? Because when he proposed something, they were not in agreement. So, these people were asking, while they were asking for money, that Chinese guy already created it. And that Chinese guy used to work with NVIDIA, you know that, right? NVIDIA. So he had a lot of, in his storage, he had a lot of NVIDIA things lying in his storage. And he brought those things, put them together and created DeepSeek. And now China government is proud of him. And the world wants access to DeepSeek. So this is called branding, when not following. So I always tell, do not follow the leaders. There are, see, this is a leader, this is a leader. Okay? Now, for a new person, a challenger, one way is that you start small and you challenge and try to become big or stay there. Some companies, you will find, they don't like this. What they do is, they will try to criticize and cut this down. They will say, let's cut the leader by cutting price or whatever. That's what IT services did. But what DeepSeek did was created another leadership. what Braun that I gave you the example, this brand did was not cutting Phillips. 10-inch Phillips, okay, you are leader, stay there. I will create another path. So don't be follower,
So maybe
become a leader. Yes.
So I think that DeepSeek, the amount, I think it was around $1 million.
$1 million US dollar?
Yes.
Even then it is much less than
And
$20 billion.
Another thing is that model on that they've developed, it is taken from ChatGPT actually. So the big code is from ChatGPT and they have just reduced down the time of processing that thing. Earlier the ChatGPT was using around 28 decimal point and they reduced it and now they are actually better in mathematics I think.
Yeah, so you are very right
DeepSeek is
in
good at imaging,
some part.
sensing image.
The point is that it's a kind of blame or rumors being spread against DeepSeek.
So actually the models we
See,
tested.
if you talk about programming or coding, at the end of the day,
DeepSeek is better.
no, at the end of the day, languages will be, whatever you want to write, you write a research paper for FT50 and you write a research paper for third grade journal, you still write in English, correct? So you say कि वो मेरी वाली English चोरी करके उसने बना दिया, it is something like that. But the idea, the thought, the ability and using the hardware to enable that is what those companies were asking for money, because they were talking about the cost of the hardware that they needed to create and launch and store and provide the system. And even if it was $1 million, let us say,
Yes,
which-
it is relatively much cheaper.
yeah, multi-billion dollars to 1 million. 1 million is 100 million.
Yes, 1,000 times cheaper.
1,000 times cheaper. So that's the point. So this is what I am saying. Create this. Don't be a follower, be the leader. Right? Great thing to do. What is this last one? Product, performance, quality and branding. So you are saying that if product performance is poor, then how do I brand? That was the question. Who asked that question? Yes, right. Professor asked that. Product performance is the utility dimension of physical good or the service, whatever you are talking. There are markets for high performance goods and low performance. So there are two ways to define this. We can we can say good quality, bad quality. If we use the good quality and bad quality, this is actually perceptual part. Good or bad is a judgment. And judgment is very subjective and perceptual. But if we talk about high performance and low performance, then we are more scientific, because we can have a measurement and we can say the value above this is a high performance, the value below this is a low performance. Correct? For example, your car or your motorbike, if it is giving you a mileage of 80 kilometers for 1 liter, suppose, that is a high performance in terms of fuel consumption. If it is giving 50 kilometer per liter, then it is low performance, and you have quantification. You have put a level that anything above 70 will be high performance, below 70 will be low performance. So I'm not sure whether when you talk about quality here, performance, whether you are talking about high or low or good or bad, because two things are different. High or low is more objective, good or bad is more subjective judgment. So can you please clarify so I can explain?
What I think quality, as we know, quality is a free concept. Right? Quality is a free concept. It has to match with the customer's need, or it has to conform with the customer's need. In that way, I am talking about.
You are talking about quality,
Yeah, quality.
not performance,
Not
because earlier you were saying performance.
Not quality, but performance quality.
Okay. Performance quality or conformance quality?
Conformance.
Con-
CONFOR.
Oh, conformance quality, okay. Now, conformance quality is what customer expects and what you deliver.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct? That's what you are talking. Now, if there is a mismatch between in conformance quality, that's more complicated than performance quality. Because the problem here is the customer expectations for B2B products are easier to understand. Services, it is easier to understand what customer expects, you can ask and you can deliver. But for physical goods, it is very difficult to understand what customer actually expects because you cannot talk to each customer and you are focusing on a target audience, right? So, by market research, when you find out that this is what customer expects, and you also by market research itself you find that customers' expectations are not met to the level that they want, then we say that the conformance quality is poor, right? Or low or high. Now, if any dimension of quality is lower, then first solution is the target segment. So, he has high expectation. Let's take very simple example of classroom. This is my class. He has high expectations from my class, assumption. And our good friend here has low expectations. So, whatever I am saying, for him it may be high conformance quality, for him it may be low conformance quality. Correct? But first of all, knowing this itself is not very easy. But once I have found it, so what will happen that he will be highly satisfied customer and my brand will have higher equity in his mind. But in his mind, my brand will be poor brand. Correct? So, what is the choice for me? There are two choices for me. Either I improve my delivery, the product or service delivery, and reposition my brand in consumers' mind by focusing on those parameters on which people think, my target audience thinks that I am not delivering. The second objective is I leave this customer segment. He is not my segment. I can't satisfy his expectation. I focus only on this segment. Understand? And because this segment expectations are low, for them my performance is conforming to the high level and therefore higher satisfaction. So I can mint money from this segment. The only condition is that the segment size should be large enough for me to survive. Did I answer your question? So brands are linked to the target audience and conformance quality means I have to move to the segment. And many companies do. Many products fail in their own country and then they move. For example, the Starbucks coffee. Have you heard about Starbucks coffee? I think it may be in Durgapur as well. No? But Kolkata it is there. Durgapur doesn't have a Starbucks? Oh, surprising. No, Costa coffee? Do they have Costa coffee? No. No international brand? What is the coffee brand here? Nescafe? Nescafe. That's a Swiss brand. Okay. Now, Starbucks was a very successful brand of coffee for regular people in the United States. It started losing market. In US, it could not keep up with the customer expectations and it started losing market. So what they did was, they left they de-emphasized the American market. They found it difficult to deal with Americans and they started moving to Asia. The Asian countries, wherever they went, there is more volume because of the population and more demand because of the newly found wealth. America and China, this generation that came 10 years after you, 15 years after me, that generation and up below that had money and wanted to spend money. So for these guys, the Starbucks price was not the matter. Starbucks cup, holding that cup and moving around mattered. That built the prestige. Even today in China, China has much better local coffee brands, chain. One of them is called Luckin. I'm writing a case on that for Harvard Business Review. That Luckin coffee is one of the best coffee, and when I'm in China, I drink only Luckin coffee. Because the tea, they don't make this kind of tea. They have their own tea that I don't like. I like the coffee there, and I take the Luckin coffee. Sorry?
Medicinal tea kind of.
Yeah, different type of tea, different type of medicine. There is also liquor-based tea. You ought to know that. You know, all kinds of tea they make. But the coffee, Luckin Coffee, is the brand name, Luckin, Luckin, Luckin Coffee. That was brought to take Starbucks head on. So it is, in terms of quality, it is better than Starbucks. But the Chinese youngsters, especially their single child policy, the single children were pampered because from mother side, mother is single, from father side, father is single. So this child will inherit property from Nana and Dada. Understand what I am saying? So this boy or girl, how rich is that? So what do? You have money. So they go to Starbucks to flaunt. So Starbucks sale in Asia became much more than Starbucks sale in America. So this is what, when the conformance quality, American customers' expectations were not met, they came and met the expectations of another side. Did I answer your question, Professor? Convinced? Thank you for your question. Anyone else has any other question? Yes.
Sir, I have.
Yes.
Sir, by taking the example of the transportation, is there any possibilities of vice versa branding? Like in B2B segment,
Yeah.
someone or some company using some specific brand or specific model of transportation, and it's too much famous, so it's created its own brand, and vice versa, the main food brand which is providing the, like Volvo, it's not generally too much branding or giving advertisement in India for bus or other transportation, but the company who are using the Volvo bus, they are creating brand by using the Volvo. So
They
people are-
used to, but now the problem is all competitors, like he said, all the three competitors are using Volvo buses.
That's okay.
So,
But the
so it is
brand-
no more the differentiation.
What about the company differentiation, sir?
Hmm.
The Volvo bus brand,
Hmm.
the brand of bus of Volvo, it's India, it's famous because of the company using them. Later that the whole market is like Tata is already famous. Previously the market is all captured by Tata and all
Tata
that.
buses, yeah.
But suddenly the company using the Volvo
Yeah.
and Scania and others, when
Yeah.
the Volvo giving high much functionality or utility,
Yeah.
it's consumer automatically. Like we are personally when travel by Volvo, Kolkata to Durgapur, we just feel it's okay. It's Volvo, that doesn't mean providing by Shamoli or Green Line or Express Line. It's Volvo, then it will be okay. So the brand of Volvo, it's like too much settled down in our mind.
Yeah,
If we are not bothering about the provider,
yeah.
it's also creating own brand,
Right.
but we are too much concerned about the Volvo.
So what you are saying that the ingredient brand, this is called ingredient branding.
That's the concept.
So if the ingredient brand is strong and then dominates, it becomes difficult for the others to build the brand. Is that your question?
But here is the problem where 3 bus drivers are there.
Yeah.
3 bus, that's what the question, origin of the question is 3.
Yeah, so his
Transportation
question is
happening.
answered, but I think he had a different question. I am trying to
But I
understand.
want to know the concept. Is there any possibility like some brand?
You mean to say that Volvo can go ahead and make its own bus service?
No,
No.
not like that.
Okay.
Sir, I have to add something to it. I think like from Durgapur, when we go my home, Siliguri.
Okay.
So there is a from Bardhaman there is a
No, not
new
right.
transportation that came up. They are offering toilet in the bus itself. It's a service
Yeah.
for women like the
For
stop.
everybody, it's a service, it's convenience.
No,
Yeah.
actually the bus stop they use that is a dirty like women
Yeah,
don't feel
understand.
comfortable and this kind of services they are providing. That unicorn new brand is came.
Yeah.
In that they are using Volvo also.
Yeah.
They providing that TV, headset, all these things already been done. Like
Okay.
they are charging very high, like I think 3 times more than that Samuli and others.
Okay.
So I think these kind of additions can be done
Correct.
to make their branding
To
In-
differentiate themselves
Yes.
from others
Yes.
and create the brand for their own service
yes.
instead of depending on the product brand. So that is what I was saying earlier,
Yes, sir.
that this is the way you can do it. But what is your
So
question that
actually, my specific question, what types of branding it's called? Like,
it's called okay, if you are the same operators but you are building the reputation based on the product that you are using, that
like
is
from the perspective of Volvo. So
so
the
from perspective of Volvo, it's called ingredient branding. So Volvo is an ingredient in the transportation service provided by Sandeep bus company.
Because the bus provider company doesn't have any option because final consumer are only looking for the Volvo. But Volvo doesn't directly market in by TV advertisement or social media advertisement.
It doesn't have.
It doesn't.
So that's called ingredient branding.
ingredient.
And easy for you to understand will be, if you take any of these laptops that you may have, for example this laptop has AMD as a microprocessor. AMD is a brand, not very well known, but my laptop has a processor called Intel. Okay? What is your laptop having? Intel. Intel what?
I3.
So this is Dell, and in Dell we have, see, we don't even allow them to put the sticker. The sticker was here, it's gone, it's headed, because I use the chemical to keep cleaning my computer. So there is a logo here that says Intel something, i7 or i9, I don't know what it is. Now this Intel, the machine speed, processing, ability depends on the microprocessor, correct? Computing function depends on the quality of microprocessor. Does Intel come and market you anything? But when you buy the computer and if you are little knowledgeable, what do you look for?
I only looking for the Intel processor.
Red. That's exactly is the example. This concept is called ingredient branding. Okay? More about ingredient branding we will discuss in one of our sessions.
Banners, painted. Yeah, several banners. Where from you buying Flipkart, Amazon. The branding to you in the marketplace like Flipkart, Amazon.
Intel inside. So remember one thing, Sandeep,
That's the thing.
it's called ingredient branding, and more discussion on ingredient branding we have in one of the sessions. Okay? So this is called ingredient branding. So for transportation service, Volvo being used is ingredient branding. And like you said, when you buy laptop, you are looking for Intel. Same way when people are using for going long distance, they may be looking for Volvo buses provided by anyone. So there was a time earlier, now we have all these branded laptops, but when laptops were not in practice 20 years ago, we used to have desktop. You know desktop, right? Monitor, keyboard and one machine. That was assembled computers. India was leading in assembled computers, right? that assembled computers will always have a sticker Intel inside. And focus was that you have Intel processor in that. So ingredient branding, most successful example started with Intel. Even at that time, we looked for Intel and we did not worry who's making that desktop. Microtech is making, IBM is making. Of course, there was certain market that was only looking for IBM desktop, but most are Dell desktop. But most people were buying any desktop as long as it had Intel. And for hard drive, there was a brand I am forgetting. The hard drive also there was a very famous brand. But that brand could not maintain its branding and lost the market. But Intel continued, and Intel has been in the microprocessor market now for 50 years and very successful. So this is one example of what you are talking about, parallel to the ingredient in the bus service. Okay? This is also like when somebody is making coffee, what coffee powder is being used or what coffee beans is being used.
Like if the bus provider doesn't use the Volvo,
Yes.
it never creates its own brand.
Correct.
So
People will not go for it.
never.
Like you will not, as you said, you will not buy a laptop which does not have Intel.
From the laptop perspective, it's little bit different because technological part is day by day it's like kind of.
Yeah, but in terms of microprocessor, it's always important for the speed and processing of your computer, right? If you are technical in mind and you know that you have to run the big models, you will be worried about am I right? You need microprocessor for the speed of your computing and processing, isn't it? So when it comes to the if you are a computer expert or you have little technical inclination towards computer, you are looking for microprocessor. And everybody knows there is AMD and there is Intel. Intel is for high-end processing and AMD does a lot of work but not the same work as the Intel. So that's the perception, that's how the brands are built. Your question is answered, and we, as I said, ingredient branding will talk more. Any other question? All done? Okay. Let's talk about building a strong brand. So, what is a strong brand? We talked about strong brand yesterday. A strong brand is one that has high brand equity. And brand equity, as we know, what are the sources of brand equity? How do we increase the brand equity? What are the sources of brand equity? Awareness and image. So if I want to increase the brand equity, I have to enhance the awareness and enhance the image. Correct? This part is clear? That will enhance the brand equity, which is proxy to the brand knowledge. And more audience know about my brand, the stronger my brand is. So how do we build a strong brand? So we see here building strong brands. These are some of the options and tactics for brand elements, because those awareness and the image is created for and using the elements of the brand. Correct? That's the only thing. So what are the options here? Just see here quickly. We discussed, it's a kind of refresh. What would an ideal brand element be like? Ideal. If you remember, I told you yesterday 6 criteria. I said not every brand will necessarily meet all those criteria. But these elements, an ideal brand will be the first point, very first point, easily remember. What is the second point? Highly suggestive. Suggestive of what?
Of the product plans and benefits.
Example. Wait, suggestive names. Look at it. Just read some of these examples of second point. What does this say? Color stay lipstick. What does it say? What does it mean?
Long-lasting lipstick.
What does, yes. So the problem with lipstick is,
After taking.
once you apply, you take water, you take coffee, your lipstick goes to the cup, correct? And your lips are no more having the lipstick. This is a problem, serious problem. Very good, very good. So basically the focus is pass avna means closure, right? So it's suggested that you will have fresh breath and therefore people will not try to go away from it, correct? So this is just a many, so I'm leaving this, going back to my first slide. So suggested, highly suggestive of the product, class and benefits. Clear? Now you start thinking when you build the brand, that how can I create my brand that can suggest what I am. So like Sangeet's brand name, the name Sangeet, is a very suggestive brand name. What does it suggest? Music, correct? Sangeet. So you are in absolutely wrong discipline of business. You should be doing a music degree and become Manna Dey. Why not? Or Sonu Nigam, whatever you prefer. Okay? So become like that because you are Sangeet, suggestive brand name. Okay. Then look at the third one, third line. What does the third point say?
Inherently fun.
Inherently fun or interested. When people take or look at any of the brand name, they should feel happy. The fun should be inherent in it. It should look interesting to people, right? Not like the names that people can't even pronounce, like we talked about some brands yesterday. There is another brand called Volkswagen. Volkswagen. How do you spell it? F-O-L-K? F-O-K-S? How? F? W? Somebody said B? Who said B? VW. Anyone else? So it's, what is it called? Why it is not called Volkswagen? The spelling, there is no F in the Volkswagen, right? So a lot of people wrongly pronounce this car because there is no F. How can you call it Volkswagen? Similarly, if Sunday is S-U-N-D-A-Y, then why Hyundai is not S-U-N-D-A-Y? Correct? So this is something to think about, third point. And what we said earlier, remember this line, what would be an ideal brand? We are talking about ideal brand, right? Fourth point, my friends, rich with creative potential. What can we do to use the name or big symbol or logo or anything to create campaigns, advertisements in a creative manner? So what is the creative potential? Okay, the next one,
Transferable to a wide variety of product and geographic settings.
already explained yesterday that part, right? Then,
Including meaning and relevance over time.
absolutely, this is very important. The meaning of the brand over time can be endured. That cannot change. Today it has one meaning, tomorrow it cannot have another meaning. Correct? So that's very important. And relevant. Two things. One is that the meaning is valid for a period of time, but second important thing, does it remain relevant? So at one point of time, Nirma washing powder was very strong. You know Nirma washing powder? Karsan Bhai Patel. Nirma washing powder was a very strong brand, extremely strong brand and very successful brand. It was the big competition to multinational corporations. Why? Because in that good old India, we were using a lot of oil in our hair. Even now people use oil, right? But at that time, people were using raw oil directly, depending on which part of India you come from. Wherever coconut was found more, they will be using coconut oil. Wherever mustard was found more, they will be using mustard oil, and likewise. So India was using different kind of oil, and people will put oil on the head a lot, because here the concept was more oil means your brain will be good, and thanda thanda cool cool, your head will be nice, right? You will feel better, and the whole body. The oil was used in the whole body
Coolant.
as a coolant, and in the body for moisturizing. You remember in good old days the moisturizer was the oil. And with this, so this is what we call grease. So we had so much grease on our body. So clothes that we wear, and our this collar, this cuff, our bed sheet, pillow, mattresses, quilt, and quilt cover, all of them will be full of grease. Also, how many days people used to wear a shirt? Were they changing every day? No. People used to wear a shirt for 7 days, 10 days. Because the country was not so rich. Many people had only 2 shirts or 2 kurta, right? 2 dhoti. So when you had limited clothes, if you wash it every day, how do you manage it? And some people had only one. How many bed sheets they had? Usually one for each bed in good old India. Okay? So now cleaning of that required high amount of caustic soda. Nirma washing powder had very high amount of caustic soda. So if you put, it's not a detergent powder, washing powder. So if you dissolve your clothes in a hot water with Nirma, the grease will come out and your clothes will be clean. That's why it became very successful. What happens now? As I said, the lifestyle has changed. Now a lot of people take shower 2 times a day. Some take more, but a lot of people take shower 2 times a day. Right? Morning and evening. People have replaced the hair oil to the lighter oils as compared to those thick greasy oils. People have replaced oil as a body moisturizer to body lotions. Correct? And people have more shirts, more bed sheets, more pillow covers, and the frequency of washing them is reduced. Instead of washing in 15 days or 1 week, now people may be washing it regularly. Right? You might have seen, I never repeat the same clothes the other day. Right? Not only that, when I go back to the guest house, I immediately remove these clothes and change to another setup. Right? This is the new practices. So now the clothes when you wash, they are not dirty. Actually they are not dirty. So you don't need Nirma anymore. So now the Nirma market is different target audience. Still there is target audience. And Nirma, a lot of houses, it is used for washing utensils. Instead of washing clothes, it is used for washing utensils, because if you use it on steel utensils, which is what most Indian houses have, it's science, a steel science, right? For the same caustic soda. So this is example of meaning and relevance. So it was meant for something that meaning is no more endured. and its relevance, how relevant it was for every household in India, to today it has lost its relevance. Right? What I am saying, the relevance and meaning had changed. And ensuring that this remains, this is important. And my dear friend, this happened a lot with IT companies. A lot. For example, a lot of our companies were making money and they positioned themselves during Y2K. You remember Y2K?
No, sir.
You don't know the Y2K concept?
No, sir.
In 95 to 2000, that period, suddenly IT industry created a fear around the world that on 0101/2000, all the systems will stop working, because all IT systems are meant only up to 1999. So they created this havoc everywhere in the world, and they said you need to recode all your system, otherwise plane will not fly, hospital systems will not work, everything will collapse. This was called Y2K, year 2000 problem. And several Indian IT companies mushroomed and got the business all over the world to recode the system so that they can work from that 000 date onwards. So many Indians, because at that time we did not have the language translators. At that time Indians had English language proficiency as a competitive advantage, and Chinese cannot speak that, Philippines cannot speak that. There is a country near Saudi Arabia that is now fulfilling all IT needs for the whole of Middle East, the Dhaka part. I'm forgetting the name of that company, that country. So that country was speaking only Arabic, and all computer systems were in English. So India got a lot of business in Infosys, TCS, any company, even a small Tom, Dick and Harry will create a company and they will have a business. So a lot of business was received in Y2K. And then what happened, that whole branding that they did at that time, as soon as the year 2000 came, that became irrelevant. Understand? And that's where Indian IT industry had the biggest recession, because suddenly the businesses were gone and people who went to America for the job with these companies sent them, they were all hauled back and given golden handshake. You know golden handshake? Termination. So a lot of people in IT industry became unemployed. They never got the job again because they did not upgrade, they did not maintain the meaning and relevance of their skills, and therefore, because they were known only for coding for year 2000. So this exists in every sector of branding, my dear friend, remember. And the last point, what is the last point? So now you know those 6 criteria on which we evaluate the brand. Those 6 criteria is what we are talking, and a strong brand has to fulfill these criteria. So how do we make a strong brand? We ensure that these things are created in our brand. Okay, so now let's look at each of these brand elements quickly. The first brand element is brand name. That is the first, most fundamental thing, because this is the way you introduce, this is the way you inform. So this is the most important part, right? Okay. Now when we talk about brand name, there is a taxonomy for brand name. What kind of brand names you can create that can help you with those qualities? One is descriptive. So descriptive means the name itself will suggest, describe what it is. So for example, this is the lodge. You know, like you have here OYO, though its branding is done negatively. But conceptually, it was supposed to be a low cost accommodation, correct? So in America, there are inns, I-N-N. Inns means they are like lodges, like OYO, but nothing like OYO happens there. Okay? I mean, whatever branding is done here, it's not the same meaning, it's completely different. It's a regular low cost accommodation option, and you get free breakfast in the morning, cleanliness is high. It's a hotel which is not having any staff, so meant for the economy class. So there were many chains that came, but one chain that became very successful was called Sleep Inn. What does it suggest? An inn for coming and sleeping. Basically, why do you need hotel? For most people, hotel was traditionally required when you are outside for the work. So daytime you are working and then you need a place in the night to sleep. Correct? I can come to your home and say that, can you give me a bed and I can sleep. That is how most people used to do. But especially when you are sales trip and where you don't have relatives and things like that on business trip, you want something to stay. So that was the concept, very well described. So one type of brand names are descriptive in nature. Color stick is also something like that. The second one is what? What is this? Evocative. That means they evoke about the brand, they evoke something. Example here is Quicken Loans. What does it mean?
No lengthier process of.
Yes, so loans can be given quickly. But another thing in branding is important. Whatever you promise, you deliver. If you don't deliver, even if you have great brand name, you will fail. This is a company, still exists in America. It promises that your loan, car loan, home loan, whatever you want, basically they are in two things, car loan and home loan. These are main segments. They also give the loan for marriage, loan for vacation and things like that. But these two are the main segments. And they promise in 3 minutes. So advertisement was that loan will be approved in 3 minutes. That was the advertisement. So Quicken Loan, there cannot be more quick than this. Because any bank, any other place will require a lot of documents and it will take time. Unfortunately, they never delivered in 3 minutes. Not even in 3 days. So they built a very nice name but could not deliver. So their equity is very low. Understand? Oh, taxonomy means नामकरण के तरीके, the ways to name the brand. Okay? Something like that. It's the easiest way to explain to you. That's the meaning of taxonomy. Okay? Then the third one is, what is the third one? Personality. The example here is, maybe you don't know that, Snapple. Snapple is a very famous fruit juice drink brand, carbonated fruit juice. Carbonated means what? You drink Coca-Cola here, that's carbonated drink. But that's not healthy, right? Snapple provides you the fruit drink that is carbonated. Because fruit drink is healthy, right? So for example, water. There is a normal water and there is a carbonated water. So you have basically the gas in that. So water with the gas. So similarly, this is water with the gas. So you have a fish like Coca-Cola, but you are not drinking that sugared water. You are actually drinking a fruit juice. Snapple became very, very famous for this because the moment people use the word Snapple, Snapple, apple with soda. Okay? So in America, it was a common language. People wanted to drink apple juice, and apple juice they will mix soda from outside, because earlier carbonated fruit drink was not available. So Snapple came by saying soda in apple. Now you understand? Soda in apple, that became Snapple. Very easy, and anyway in slang language, people used to call that soda in apple. What do you want to drink? Like if I go to your home, you say, sir, tea, coffee, what do you want? So something like they will say, what do you want, coffee or Snapple? So that was not this Snapple that time. That was soda in apple, said in a slang language, Snapple. This company captured that word very well and created a brand called Snapple. So the moment you hear Snapple, something gets evoked. What? The thirst for an apple juice with soda. Quenching your thirst.
Like fruity.
But fruity is not carbonated.
No,
It's like that.
When
Fruity
you think about
evokes.
it, it's full of fruit.
Correct. It evokes that feeling. So that is called personality graph. Then what is the next one? Synthetic. What is the meaning of synthetic?
Artificial.
Yeah, artificial, chemically formed, nothing that is really very meaningful like how we have been talking about. So Verizon, for example, this is read as Verizon. Verizon has a new logo, which is a visual statement that honors their history and reflects an identity that stands for simplicity, honesty, and joy in a category which is rife with confusing, claimers, and frustrations. And what is that category? Communication. Mobile phone. In mobile phone category, not sure how clear things are here in India. In US, it's a huge confusion. They will advertise this mobile service $5 a month. Then you read those disclaimers, you will find for $5 a connection. You want to do anything else, you have to pay money for.
So many conditions apply.
So many. So your actual payment for a prepaid phone is not $5. It is $50 a month. So in that kind of situation, Verizon was the first one. It brought logo and it focused on that part of honesty and simplicity. So everything is clear, nothing under terms and conditions, no confusion. Right? So that is called synthetic, synthesizing the important parameters on which the brand needs to be positioned. Clear? Okay, and the last part, founder's name. A lot of brands are by founder's name. Bajaj, Mahindra, Tata, Birla Cement. These are all based on the founder's name. Does anybody know this brand? Hair dryer, do you use it? You heard, but didn't use it, didn't buy it.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. He knows everything. Do you know about this?
I know.
But yeah, you know? Do you use it?
No.
It's extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. The hair dryer for this is about, I think, I don't know how much they charge in India, but in US, if you convert into Indian rupees, it's 80,000 rupees. The hair dryer. But it's a quality that your hair or scalp will never get damaged. That's a completely different technology. And this was developed by Dyson. And Dyson is the owner who died last year. He died last year, but the company still lives there. You know, companies don't die. People die, companies don't die. And Dyson developed this technology so advanced that from the hair dryer, they started making the vacuums. You know the vacuums? And their vacuums are the best and most expensive. How is it related from the hair drying to the vacuum? There is no relevance, right? You don't vacuum your hair, correct? You are blowing air in the hair in a way that without drying your scalp or due to the heat treatment damaging your hair or the color, it provides you that service. So it is blowing air. Their expertise is in managing the air, blowing air or using air to suck something, right? So what is the vacuum? Vacuum actually blows the air to suck something. The air doesn't go out, but air pressure is created. So with the air pressure, your dirt gets sucked, right? So that's how they created the most expensive and the most effective vacuum cleaners are by Dyson. So these are the categories you use for the brand. So remember some more guidelines about this. Number one, simple and easy to pronounce. As I said the other day, or spell, that's important. It's Volkswagen, Hyundai, these are not, they do not qualify on these criteria, but they became famous because of the associations. Hello? No problem, please. I saw you first time, that's why I said that. Okay, this suggestive I already told you. The next important part is URLs. You remember I was talking about URL? URLs are again, as you know, Universal Resource Locator is the full form for this. They specify locations of pages or the web. So what do you need here? What is the first point? Correct. Absolutely. That's very important part. And then
Cyberstalking or domain stalking.
This is the problem, my friends. This is what I was telling you yesterday, that registered URLs in all possible ways. I gave you the example of your university with org India something, right? Org India, what was that? DSMS? Correct. Bharat or DMS India, right? So registering those, that's what they are saying. If you don't do that, the criminals, they can do, cyber criminals can do what is called cyber squatting or domain squatting. What these people do, they register the what is that? The registration, trafficking in or using a domain name with bad faith to profit from that. The goodwill of a trademark belonging to someone else. And you will be surprised, this was done, the World Wide Web, when it started popularity. See, internet was invented in 1969. But initially it was only for defense services in US, very limited. I think it became popular by companies to use only around late 80s, very late 80s and early 90s. At that time, still, it was not very public because the computers were not available. See, I finished my PhD in 1996. So at that time, as a PhD student, I had no computer access. But because I was also a lecturer in the university and responsible to manage the faculty recruitment for the whole university and the research project allocation, guide allocation, supervisor allocation across the university, I was given a computer that was called XT. Do you know XT computers? Have you seen them? You have not seen. It's very old generation computer in which you can only use MS-DOS system, which means there was no fonts. There was one font, only one font. And you have to, like a typewriter. It was basically a computerized typewriter, you can say. And you cannot go back, you cannot correct, you cannot make it bold, although nothing you can do. Yeah, only write. Like a type machine, you write there. So I wrote my thesis myself on that. I typed my thesis on that, PhD thesis. So that was the time, and this is 1996. So imagine in 1996 we still did not have the URLs. But the beginning of 2000, the URLs became very popular. They started, companies started creating URLs for themselves. After Y2K issue, Y2K was one thing, then this web development became the next business. So in this part, a lot of students in Germany, German students, they were very clever. What they did was, that time domain name registration was very cheap everywhere in the world, very, very cheap. So they were just looking at all top international brands. And whosoever was clever, they will spend money, little money, and register all those brand names. I was a professor in Sweden, and a PhD student who used to meet me often, one day I went to the lab and I saw him creating a lot of names and written in the page. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Professor, I am making investment for future." I said, "What is that investment?" Then he explained me, at that time we didn't have this term. This term was not existing at that time. Later, he became very wealthy person by selling those brand names, because they were for big companies and not just in Sweden, Europe, American companies. So, because what these companies will do, they will offer you money and you have negotiation power. So they offer you money, you negotiate with them, and depending on how desperate and how big they are, they will sell that domain name. So this became popular and people made money. Now this falls under illegal activity in certain countries. Not every country has regulation, but in some countries it is part of illegal activity. So before you try to become businessman, please check what Indian government regulations are about it.
Sir, few months back, Bani, I guess, he had collaboration with some
Hotstar
company,
NGO.
and
Oh.
Hotstar NGO.
Okay.
I don't remember
Uh-huh.
but someone made a URL
Mhm.
about maybe subscribe to
Yeah.
some URL they have already patent other person,
Yeah.
and in that link he has written that if you Ambani wants to buy it, he can buy it. Just give me this amount.
Yeah.
21,000 per month. 21,000.
Oh, he's asking 21,000 per month.
Yes, that was scam, sir. That is.
Oh, that was scam. Then what happened finally?
So it's a new style.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's what I'm
In
saying.
deep sea, there were so many scams happening. But not these scams.
Yeah. So anyway, point here is that it's illegal. So if you want to get into this, please check with the Indian regulations. Okay. Some countries it is still allowed, some countries it is not. But some companies also now don't care about them, because what they have started doing, they put some disclaimers, and because they don't operate in those countries, they don't care, and they create through the Google. Google has created a system where if the brand pays money to them, it will stop the traffic from going to those fake sites. But of course you have to pay to Google. So there are better ways now to deal with this. The third thing, so this is about URL, and these are some guidelines for how do you build, as I am talking about how to build a strong brand. So I will skip that and I come to the logos and symbols. Now when we talk about logos and symbols, look at these. These are called word mark logos. Why they are called word mark logos? All of them have words, right? You see that? So there are some logos, they have words, there is certain style of writing, certain font size, certain colors, combination, all these are registered. You understand? Every aspect of this is registered. So this is one way to identify. Second, these are called non-word mark logos. So here you have words, easy to identify. Here you don't have any words, but they are so strong that people can identify by looking at them, right? What is this one?
Shell.
Shell, very good. What is this one?
Twitter.
It is Kill. Such a strong, powerful brand with very high brand equity. Amongst the social media, this had the highest brand equity amongst all social media brands. It had more than Facebook in terms of brand equity. But it has been killed. Why it has been killed? Huh?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, why he killed it?
Because of Donald Trump.
Okay. Main point is that for any business person, it's foolish to kill a brand with such a high equity. You purchase at a high price and then you kill it. But never forget one thing. Successful people, business people who are very successful, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them have very high arrogance. Very high arrogance, very high ego. Even if they have to become the beggar, riches to rags, they take those decisions. So sometimes these decisions are for ego. This is one decision. But even now, this is no more available, but you could identify. Look at the power of the branding. No name. Now you understand why the brand elements we are talking about and how to create those steps. Anybody knows this?
Panda Express.
Yes, WWF. Somebody said Panda. Which Panda?
Panda Express, there is one.
Panda Express is in America, the chain of Chinese restaurant. Not Chinese restaurant, Chinese food. It has nothing to do with China and there is no Chinese food in that. The Chinese food is like how we get in India. The chow mein. There is no chow mein in China. Chow mein is a Chinese product invented and created by Indians. Okay? The momos don't exist in China. Okay? So all that Chinese food that you eat here, that Manchurian, does not exist in China. So all these things that you eat here is nothing Chinese. So it's like that, my friend. Panda Express is not Chinese, but this is not Panda Express. That girl was correct, Ananya was correct. It is WWF. That fight, WWF fight, that WWE. So what does this mean? No, it's not welfare. Go ahead, the full form.
World Life Federation.
Yes, World Wildlife Fund. Excellent. This one? This one? See? These are international brands, but so powerful, you just examine them. Third category is where we are talking about combination logo. What is combination logo? Where you have the picture and the word. In this side, you have this gas company, and petrol company, without any name, and you immediately said Shell. In this case, you have this, with this you cannot identify unless this word is there. Correct? This one, without this word, it is available in Thailand. Okay? People get confused, they think they are buying Lacoste just because this will be there. But in the correct branding, it is like this. What Thai people have done, the fake imitated product, this reverse. And the tongue is not red. They made the tongue yellow. You see, this is called imitation. So you will find many other countries, Chinese also have changed that. You might, in the market you can see that. So here, therefore, it's important to identify this brand together. Right? So many, look at Kodak. Kodak is a picture, K written in certain way, but also the whole thing is written. Clear? Chanel, a very high-end, ultra-luxury brand. If you don't have this word, many people will not recognize it as Chanel. Right? Only when the Chanel is written with that you identify. Clear? So this is combination logo. Now there is a symbol thing that we are talking about, logo and symbol, and some are shown here that you see here, and they have very reason why they are created like this. So if you see here, this one is what? The Logitech is what? Mouse. So Logitech, when it was started, of course they make many things now, camera, all computer accessories. But when it was started, it was a mouse. So you can see this looks like that mouse, and also Logitech is written. Correct? Otherwise you can't identify. The last thing is about characters. Do you remember this? but look at this one. What brand is this? McDonald's. What is McDonald's known for? The McDonald's has three words: fun, food, and family. Fun, food, and family. So it is not. It's a family restaurant. Of course, in India, anything can be used for anything, but predominantly it is for family restaurant where you take your kids, they have place to play, they love this character. You know this character? They'll enjoy this character, it's colorful, very attractive to the kids, they play there, and Happy Meal concept. Happy Meal was for the kids. All that you will see was designed and developed nicely. This is the fellow captain. You will see from when it was started in 1959, it looked like this, his full name, and then over a period of time it kept changing, and I think there is further refinement that I don't have right now. Yeah, and this one, if you see here, these chips, potato chips, have you eaten? Originally it was only this character. Then somebody complained that it is discrimination, gender discrimination. So what they did was, they also made a female Pringle thing, because Pringle chips are for everyone. Correct? So chip is same, but if you are a girl, you may take other package. Right? So this is character. With characters, I put this specifically to highlight something to you, that today you also have to worry about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. So you have, when you develop your branding strategy, when you create a strong brand, worry about DEI. Do not use anything that can insult a religion, that can insult a gender, that can insult unintentionally. any section of people. So Mintra example we already discussed earlier. Unintentionally it hurt someone's feelings and they have to change. So the job is now more challenging, my friends, because it's not only the legal aspect, it's a DEI, which is only perception. Diversity, inclusiveness and equity is perceptual. I am including all of you in my class, right? No intention to discriminate, but he may feel that I was not giving any attention to him, right? So it's very tough for me to feel. No, you are not feeling, I'm just saying hypothetically. Now, I'm not doing anything wrong, but it can happen. So we have to worry about it. So this is one example of that they were blamed for it and there was problem. This is another category of symbols. You will see a lot of symbols here. You see these symbols? And these symbols are using animal characters. These are human characters, these are animal characters. Very successful. The third is non-living characters. You know all of them. I have intentionally put only Indian here. All are Indian. All are in India, right? Do you know all of them? Is any of them living character? Not a single is a living character. But they are created in such a big way, including this. And it has remained relevant for how many years? Think about it. Correct? That's why I said George Kurian is a magician in marketing and branding. So this is, what is this?
Pillsbury.
Pillsbury. What do we call this boy? Dove boy. Dove boy. आटा के पानी डाल के बना लेते उसको डो बोलते हैं. So dove boy. So far nobody has complained why there is no dough girl. Correct? But if that happens, they can still defend that you are calling boy, but the girl can also look like this. Where is mustache to say that it is not a it's not a girl, right? So this is a wiser way to manage this kind of thing. Here it's Captain Cook. Captain Cook. There was nobody called Captain Cook like this, right? So these are the ways to build your strong brands. And slogans is another important thing that is very useful for branding. But brands also have slogans. Parle ji khao, kuch ban ke dikhao. G mane genius, yes. These are the slogans, and many times we remember the brands by the slogans. Correct? So, sorry? Nirma, Saundarya Sabun Nirma. So see, a lot of catchy. Now, there is a difference between slogan and jingle. What she said, Saundarya Sabun Nirma, that is a jingle. Okay? When a slogan has a musical tone, we call it jingle. Jingles are easier to remember as compared to slogans. But slogans are also very powerful tool. You might have thought these are not brand elements. So that's why I wanted to let you know that they are also brand elements. These are some of the famous slogans. I'm leaving it with you. Just do it. See, just by that slogan, and it's not musical. Just do it. It's not musical. So this is the difference between slogan and jingle. But Saundarya Sabun Nirma, that is a jingle because it has a musical tone. Correct? So is the difference between slogan and jingle clear to you? I have given you a lot of examples for your own. I put it as a quiz. So test your knowledge, how much you can remember about the brand and how easy it is to remember the brand. The jingles, you already gave a nice one. But this video you can watch. This is a commercial for the Mint. You know the Mint that we take. So there was a flavor. There is a brand called Double Mint. So that's why you see there are two girls here, and they have made a very nice, attractive jingle with this one. So there is a link you can watch here. That's it. That completes for the day. and I think your tea is waiting for long. So please take your tea